Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Spur here. We're back at it in X-Plane, and we're in the default 737-800. This is, today's the first time I've flown this airplane. I got a little practice in it earlier just to kind of get familiar with it, but it's not a bad plane, and I'm going to, once we get started, I'm going to get into my reasons as to why I'm flying this plane and not the Zibo 737. So right now we're currently sitting at Birmingham, Alabama at Shuttlesworth International Airport. We're going to be flying a quick hop over to Atlanta. This will be a really quick and easy trip. We'll cruise about 25,000 feet. And it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, there's just not a lot to it. We'll be doing Delta Flight 1783. That is a real-life 737-800 flight between Birmingham and Atlanta. We've got the flight plan and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and hop in the plane and start getting some things set up here real quick. So we'll get the yoke out of the way, and we'll go to, let's see. All right, we'll go to route. We'll start getting this programmed in. Let's get this cleared out. Of course, we know nav data is always out of date. I thought about updating, but I haven't yet. I haven't run into that many waypoints that I don't have. So we're starting out in KBHM. Let's plug him in real quick. And we're going to Hotlanta, KATL, the Delta capital of the world, right? And we're doing Delta Flight 1783. For you guys that are really familiar with this stuff, I'm wondering, when they put the flight number in, do they put DAL or they just put the number? If you know, let me know. We're going to, you know, we'll put DAL. We'll put DAL in, 1783. We'll get that plugged in. All right, for our flight plan, we are flying to Gump, Dresden, and then we're doing the Hobbit 2 arrival into Atlanta. Hobbit will be landing to the west, so Hobbit is for westward arrivals. Let's see, I want to look at the nav log real quick here in SkyVector to figure out where we're entering. Okay, so we're going to pick up the arrival at Smog. Okay, so that has me good there. All right, so let's go ahead and put in Gump. Let's see, GUMP. We'll plug that in. We'll plug in Dresden, which is an interesting, that's an interesting fixed name. Dresden is a German city. I don't know why we have Dresden outside of Birmingham, Alabama, but we do. They have Dresden, so that's what we're going to plug in. We'll put that in. And now we need to get to our arrival to Atlanta. We're coming in. The Hobbit 2 takes us in from the southwest, so we should technically land on the southern runways. It doesn't always work out that way. Never say never. But for the most part, I think that's what they try to do. So let's go in and look at Hobbit 2, Dresden. Okay, Dresden is actually one of the fixes for it. So I wonder if that's pronounced as something else that I'm just completely oblivious to. Let's see, they'll be departing on 27 right, so we could land on 27 left. We'll plug that in for ILS. We'll do Silva for that. Shouldn't really need to start the approach that far out because it's beautiful weather today, but we'll do it anyway. All right, so all that's plugged in. Let's go to legs. Let's fix these discontinuities. We'll bump you up, and we'll bump Silva up, and we're good. Okay, our cruise altitude is going to be 250. Let's plug you in. There we go. And I think we're good. I think we're good on everything else. I'm not worried about climb, not worried about descent. We got our departure and arrival taken care of. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good with all this. So let's go ahead and hit that one more time just in case. And close this out. And we're going to climb out to, let's say, but we'll do 10,000 feet. 10,000. You know what? Let's do 16 because 16 is the number I always like to do. So we'll do 16 today too. We don't want to change it up, right? We'll go straight up to 16,000. We'll climb out at 230, 40, somewhere in there. We'll do 240. Okay, there we go. Now, let's take a look at our weather here in Birmingham. Our departure weather. Winds are variable at 6 knots, 10 statute miles. Visibility, few clouds at 25,000. Altimeter 3036. We need to fix our altimeter here. So let's go down just a tad. 3036. Okay, winds are variable. So I don't know what runway they're going to be using. So let's look at not live ATC. Flight Aware. Flight Aware should give us a good idea of what they're doing, and it looks like they're landing on runway 6, so we'll take off on runway 6. All right, so we have I think runway 6. This is from when we landed earlier, so course is 058. Let's change our heading to 058 as well. There we go. Okay, that's set. We got our taxi light. Let's go ahead and get you on. And I think we're good to go. I think we're good. Let's go ahead and get better pushback ready to go. Pre-plan. And we're going to be going to 6, so we need to face this way.
Ground to cockpit, plan, acknowledged.
Good to go.
Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Yes, we are ready, ma'am, please. We're ready to get out of here.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
All right, got our volume down just a tad. Maybe that'd be a little bit better. We're waiting on the tug to pull up through the building here. We'll let him roll up and get us taken care of, and we'll be on our way. So let's go ahead and talk about why I'm not flying the Zebo plane. It basically boils down to the fact that I don't have rudder pedals. And for me, I have a lot of trouble with directional control, rolling down the runway on takeoff or a landing rollout. I have a lot of trouble with directional control without a rudder. Now, I've gone in and set and configured the plane to where nose wheel steering...
all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay. Nose wheel steering is controlled by a roll, right? But it still lacks a lot of directional control on that rollout, and I don't know why. Like, if I'm landing or taking off into a pretty decent crosswind, you know, I have to push the stick over left or right to compensate. And if it's a strong enough crosswind, then it damn near gets the plane up on 2 wheels, up on the nose wheel in 1 gear, instead of keeping it level and just yawing it, if that makes sense. If I land and the nose wheel is up in the air and there's a crosswind,
connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
I have zero directional control. It is like really super tough, and it is just with that plane. This plane is absolutely fine. When I'm rolling down the runway, I can manipulate the stick left and right to compensate for the crosswind, and it's no problem. It doesn't go up on 2 wheels. It does exactly what it's supposed to for that kind of setup. If I land, it's the same way. I can compensate. It's just the Zebo 737. I attribute it to a lack of rudder pedals, but I don't know. If any of you guys out there fly it without rudder pedals, is it a setting that I'm missing? Is it something else that I'm missing? Like I said, I've gone in and configured the plane to where I have nose wheel steering on the ground. I have no problem taxiing around from A to B. It's just on takeoff and landing where my issues are at. So we're in this plane. And as I said, it does fine. Is it a Zebo quality plane? No, absolutely not. But it does the most basic things, which is get me up in the air and get me back down on the ground. The FMS works fairly well. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of the Zebo, but it does the most basic things. So that is why we're in this plane. And I honestly don't have much of a problem with this plane. it's a good plane. It handles really well. You know, the autopilot works fairly well. There's a few issues with it, like going past the speed you set just a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. So that's my reasoning, you know, for using this plane as opposed to the Zebo.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
All right, parking brake set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
So this is kind of like Shuttlesworth. I've been there several times. I've flown out of there several times, in and out of Birmingham. Yeah, the runways are there, the taxiways are there. It doesn't really, you know, it's default scenery. Over here is really cool, would actually be the Birmingham Air National Guard or the Alabama Air National Guard in Birmingham, where they fly KC-135s. Used to be F-4 Phantoms back in the day. Used to fly over our house all the time in central Alabama, but they traded those in for KC-135s back in the early, it was the early 90s, I guess.
Tow is disconnected and bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have fun up there.
Oh, we will, ma'am. We always have fun, right? No matter what. So let's hop back in the plane. Let's get our taxi light on bright. And everything else, I'm going over everything here to make sure. I think we are good. Let's get flight directors on. Let's arm our auto throttle. And I think we're good. We'll hop back out. And it's a nice looking airplane. I really like this. And you gotta love the Delta planes. Always do. Alright, let's open the throttle, knock the brakes off, and get rolling. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm starting to get back into X-Plane more, or not back into it. I never really was into it that much. Honestly, I haven't had it that long, and I've probably only done about between a dozen and 2 dozen flights. But I'm going to start doing a little bit more in X-Plane. I think it's the better sim as far as doing airline flights. I'll still do sightseeing and little hops in Microsoft, but X-Plane to me definitely has more to offer as far as doing the airliners and things. So that is what we're going to do. Let's see if they have PIMCO. Yes, they do. They do have the big building for PIMCO. That was a place that used to, I think they did some kind of work on KC-135s as well. Like they rebuilt them or did some kind of major work on them, major overhauls. I'm not exactly certain. I don't think they do that there anymore. I don't think they've done it for a long time, but I remember growing up PIMCO. I want to say you used to could see KC-135s sitting out there in like primer and stuff like that. Or the zinc coating that they put on them, or whatever it is. All right, let's go ahead and start getting takeoff flaps. 1, 2, 5. There we go. See if they do it. We'll double check that when we get down here close to the end. Looks good from here, so get a little bit closer and we'll hop in the cockpit. All right, let's hold tight just a second. Make sure we got everything good to go. Make sure, okay, flaps 5. For takeoff, we'll go to RTO on anti-skid. And I think we're good, at least for what I know about this airplane. At least the basic stuff. I'm most definitely not an expert on 737 ops. So let's get our seat situated. We'll scoot the seat back and get zoomed out here. And I think we're good to go. All right, let's knock the brakes off. Open the throttle. We'll take the runway and depart. Looks like it was clear off that direction. At least I hope so. I didn't see anything just now, but didn't really look either. All right, good to go. Let's open the throttle. Get going. We'll get out of the Magic City. Open the throttle all the way up. We're good. All right, airspeed's alive through 80. 120, 130. Let's go ahead and start rotating. There we go. And we're off. Positive rate, gear up. Get that gear up. Let's get the auto throttle engaged. Oops, didn't need to bump it over that much. Get the auto throttle engaged. Let's go ahead and track some flaps here. And we'll hit Command A. We'll roll this up to vertical speed mode. There we go. And we'll climb out at 3,000. There we go. Looking good. Let's do heading select through 400. We'll fly out runway heading just a bit, and then we'll turn on course and be on our way. We'll be in Atlanta before you know it. This is kind of a weird route, though. It doesn't take you straight to Atlanta. You go south out of Birmingham. Probably about, what, 50 nautical miles, maybe? Let's see. See how far Gump is out. 22 nautical miles. So we go south, and then we go east, and then we pick up the arrival into hot Atlanta. Let's go ahead and hit LNAV. We'll get that going. We'll bump our speed up a little bit more to 250. There we go. All right, so far so good. We'll the rest of our flaps up. And we'll take a look at the plane. Not a bad looking plane. I really dig it. It's not a bad plane at all. And we got Birmingham back behind us. This would be, I think this would be Red Mountain here. There we go. Always liked this view. I always thought it was a pretty cool looking view. All right, back in the plane. We are through 8,000 feet. Let's go ahead and bump this up to our cruise altitude of 250. Heading east. East is odd, right? There we go, 250. Climbing through 9,000 feet. We'll get our lights in a second here and start bumping the speed up. I think we'll cruise about 310 knots, 320 somewhere there. All right, we're through 10,000 feet, got all our lights taken care of. We're heading for 250. As soon as we get through 18, we'll set stay under pressure. Let's go ahead and bump the speed up. We'll bump this up a good bit. Like I say, we'll cruise about 310 knots, 320, somewhere in there, give or take. I think if I were to have a complaint about this plane right off the bat, like my very first impression would be these damn waypoints are so freaking small you can't see them for shit. Same thing for the Boeing 747. I don't know what the deal is with that. I really don't. I wish you could make them bigger though. That sucks. That absolutely sucks. And we forgot to go to traffic. There we go. We got that set. All right, through 18,000, let's hit standard pressure. There we go. And we're going to start looking at our arrival into Atlanta. It's going to be the Hobbit 2 arrival for aircraft landing to the... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Open it up on a separate window. All right, let's try this again. New tab. There we go. Let's do page 1 and page 2. Okay, Hobbit 2. We're coming in from Dresden. And we'll head to Smog after that. So have to pass Smog at 17,000 feet. Hobbit at 14,000 feet. Let's see what else. Insel at 12,000 feet. And then we'll head direct, looks like Eagle. Let's make sure that corresponds. Yes, Eagle, then Shirt, then Foger, and then Hit, and Yuri. Okay, we'll have to take this vector out. That's okay, we're not too worried about that. So yeah, we're set up. We're set up for a westward landing. Climbing through 22,000 feet for 250. Go back to page 1, see if there's anything else about this I need to know. It's interesting on this. I don't see any speed restrictions on this, unless I'm just completely overlooking it. Page 1, no. Page 2, no. Okay, all right. Well, turbojet only. Expect to receive descend via clearance from Atlanta Center. Approach will assign runway for use when landing west, when landing east, while the Gandalf arrival. Okay. So no speed restrictions. That's all on, I guess that's all ATC assigned. Let's make sure cruising at 470 ground speed. Got a little bit of tailwind behind us there. 42 knots, not bad. Not bad. It looks like the Dresden portion of it is specifically for like Birmingham aircraft, maybe. Okay. Alright, so with all that said, we're hitting direct Dresden and then Smog. Smog will cross at 17,000. We don't have to worry about that for a while. So we'll continue on. This is a good trip. I've said it before. I love these little short hops. You know, Birmingham, Nashville, Greenville, Spartanburg, Pensacola, Jacksonville, even Cincinnati, and even Memphis. These are all great trips. This trip from Birmingham to Atlanta would be something I would probably do. If I were to ever get back in VATSIM, I would probably do these trips to get my feet wet. You depart out of Atlanta and you go right into basically your approach environment not too far after that. So it's a pretty cut and dry flight plan. You know, the only really thing that you have to consider with it is whether you're landing east or west. Other than that, it's pretty cut and dry. I mean, Atlanta is not that bad of an airport to land in, honestly, if the controllers are going along with the arrivals, you know, the standard arrivals and stuff. It's pretty well spelled out for you. So, I mean, any experience would be left at what kind of controller you have. I mean, I get that. I remember that from my other days in VATSIM and SATCO and stuff like that, but it would be a lot of fun. In fact, I think some of the very last flights that I ever did in VATSIM was the Greenville, Spartanburg to Atlanta trips in the Mad Dog back then. At that time when by 2004, I was getting really kind of limited on time as far as what I could do. I was married and working and had all this other stuff going on, so I really only had like time for short little hops and stuff like that. So I think those were the last few trips I did were the Greenville to Atlanta. And like I said before, my heyday was in '98. Did tons and tons and tons of flying. I had lots and lots of hours. And then as time went on, after probably about 2000 is when things really started slowing down for me in VATSIM. All right, back in the plane. Let's double check things. Let's see. We are 44 out of smog. We need to go down 8,000 feet. So about 20 miles out, we'll start that descent. 20, 30-ish, somewhere in there. I am, though. I'm getting the itch to get back in VATSIM. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided fully, but I don't know. I've been watching a lot of great guys, a lot of great pilots do some really good VATSIM flights, and it's making me want to get back into it. You know, it really just is. That looks like West Point Lake in front of us there. I do believe. I believe that would be West Point Lake, and this might be... that might be Lake Wedowee there. I'm not positive on that. Let me pull up Sky Vector here. Yeah, that should be Lake Wedowee, and that should be West Point. So yeah, it's giving me the bug. And my main hesitation for getting back in VATSIM is I need a plane that I'm like really familiar and good at working with. And I don't think I'm at that point yet. I love flying the Mad Dog, the default Mag Dog, but it has some quirks with it that I'm not quite sure about or familiar with. To me, this plane is actually a lot easier to fly. A lot easier to fly for sure. All right, we're 30 miles out. Let's go ahead and bump this down to get started down to 17. We'll do 2,000 feet per minute, and we'll finish out. And we need to start seeing about slowing down as well. So let's bump you back to 280 for now. And she's slowing down nicely, so we're good with that. This should be fine right here. Should be fine. It really blows my mind how busy VATSIM is now. It's crazy how busy, how much that's grown, that organization. It's absolutely awesome how it's taken off. Like I said, I remember the days in SATCO where there weren't many people at all. It was just Like, you know, you would have Chicago Tower, O'Hare Tower, and then you pretty often you had approach, and then everyone, you know, you might have center, and that was it. That was it. At the very early days, that was the only ATC you had, and everyone flew around Chicago. Like I've said a million times, my route was flying from Louisville, Kentucky up to Chicago in a UPS 757. I had a really nice UPS 75, and that's what I flew. You know, that's what I flew, and it was a lot of fun. And then things started growing from there. You know, you started seeing controllers in New York and Atlanta and Dallas and all these different places, Memphis. You know, and it got to where you could start flying to a lot of different places and have controllers, and it's just really taken off from there. It's awesome to see. It really is. It kind of makes me want to control again. I haven't controlled. It was probably the late 90s the last time I controlled, honestly. But I did do it. I was actually the first chief controller for Gander Oceanic in Satco, Canada. When I was big into, well, actually when I was flying for Northwest Virtual Airlines, and I was flying the cargo routes overseas to Europe, I started studying up and reading on the oceanic crossings, the NAT tracks and stuff like that, and how it worked out. There was nothing about that in Satco at that time, and very few people were making those trips. So I did a website. I did a little website. I think it was on America Online. I did a website about the oceanic crossings, and it told all the information about it. I took a snapshot of the tracks on one particular day, and I had pictures of that on there. And then I had some recordings of oceanic clearances and reporting and all that stuff. Well, the site kind of took off, and a lot of people from, you know, aviation enthusiasts were looking at it. And so then Satco, one of the guys asked if I would like to try Gander Oceanic in Satcan, and sure, absolutely. So I did that, and you know, we had some nice fly-ins and stuff like that, group flights across the ocean. It was really nice, but at that time we had a fixed route structure. I took so many of the eastward tracks and so many of the westward, and that's just what you flew. No matter what the wind was, you flew these set routes because we didn't have a way to do dynamic tracks at the time. So it was really cool. It was a lot of fun back then. All right, let's roll this down to 270. Our next crossing. Smog at 17, Hobbit at 14. Yes, we need going down to 14. Let's get this started quickly. On down to 14. There we go. We'll stay at 270 for now. We are 13 miles out of Hobbit, so we got to get on down with a quickness. We can't mess around, right? And we need to set our altimeter too. I'm telling you, I was telling Chief Senpai the other day, he's watching my stream, I'm like, I'm not a procedure guy. I'm not a procedure guy at all. I forget this stuff all the time. 30, let's see, what does it say? 3030, interesting. We'll do that. Let's go up to 30. 30, there we go. We're set. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I did a lot of stuff with that, and I did some controlling at other airports too, visiting and stuff like that. I think I used to go down to Atlanta a little bit, and Dallas, Fort Worth. I did mostly the oceanic stuff. We had a few guys that jumped on with that, and like I said, it was a lot of fun. It was really cool learning all that information. And it's neat to see how it's evolved now. Like, it's dynamic. I think they have dynamic tracks now, or maybe they're even based on what's actually out there. You know, when we first started out in Satco, those first early days when we were flying in Chicago, the weather wasn't dynamic. It was entered in on the through the server somehow or whatever. And so it was mostly pretty weather. And then every once in a while, someone would bump it down to IFR. You know, and then later on after that, we got the dynamic weather, which was really cool. All right, so we're coming up on, what is this here? Coming up on Hobbit. After Hobbit, we have to hit Insel at 12,000. We're not by Hobbit yet. We still got a few more miles. We'll do Insel at 12. And let's see, we're going to be landing on 26 left. Let's pull that up real quick. 26 left, where are you? 26 left. There you are. That. Alright, ILS localizer, runway 26 left, 108.7. Let's go ahead and head down to 12,000 feet first, and then we'll get that. Okay, VS mode. And then we'll head on down like that. Alright, so 108, actually let's do it over here. Nav radio 108 point, what was it? 108.7. 108. Ah. All that stuff I have to clear out. 108.7. Let's plug you in, and the course is going to be 275. 275. All right, good there. Was listening to Captain Shaquille Oatmeal. He had a great stream last night, flying from Miami up to Washington, Reagan National. A U.S. Air flight, and a U.S. Air, I think it was an A319. And man, they had an awesome controller down there in Miami. I love that dude. He was so damn funny and really good on the radio too. I was actually quite impressed. So that even like increased the bug even more for wanting to do it. All right, we're down to 12,000 feet. Let's see, what do we need to do? We need to we get down to 5,000 feet when we start lining up for our ILS. And it looks like Jiri at 5,000, Boykin at 5,000. If we have these in, double check here. Sure. What is that? Foger. Close this one out. Yeah, Foger hit Yuri. It's like I have to zoom in like crazy and bust my glasses out to be able to read that. That is crazy. Alright, now that we're by Insel, I don't see any other constraints for anything. And no altitude or speed. So I think we're going to go up here to Eagle, and then basically we'll turn it downwind. We'll fly downwind by the airport, and then earn a base, and then a final. I mean, that's basically how it's done. And that looks like the field right there. There it is. There's Atlanta. KATL. William B. Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. It's changed a lot. It definitely has changed a lot. I remember, you know, when I used to do this, there was only 4 standard arrivals into Atlanta. And you flew it was all depending on the direction. You know, if you came out of the southwest, you flew the Lagrange 8, or it was a Lagrange 6 or 8, something like that. That's what you flew, regardless of what direction you were landing. You know, and then they added in all these others, and you know, those that are dependent on the landing, you know, the traffic pattern and all that stuff. Go ahead and slow you up just a tad here. Very, very nice. Very nice airplane. All right, let's go ahead and drop down to 10,000 feet. We'll hit VS mode. And we'll do 2,000. Oh, there we go. So basically what I'm going to do, since there isn't any constraints listed, we're going to get to 10. We're going to turn downwind, and once we start downwind, we'll descend to 5, and maybe it'll time out right till when we hit maybe like 6K, 7 or 6K, we'll be ready to turn our base. And you know what, we're going to do it a little bit early, but we're going to get these lights going before I forget it, because I forget them every time. It never fails. Like I said, I'm not a procedure guy. Ask, oh, A320 right there in front of us, nice. Frontier. Ask Chief Sim Pilot is watching me land my plane the other day, and I forgot to cut on the landing lights when I was landing in Greenland. I started getting close to the runway, and I'm like, damn, it's dark as hell down here. It is like landing in a trench or something. It's kind of a weird perspective. And there we go. That's a really nice view of the airport. I like that. Really cool. Yeah, they got all kind of aircraft taking off. There's a 717 heading out of town. All right, let's jump back in. And let's see, where are we at? So we're coming, we'll pick up the ILS at Silva, which is, where's Jerry at? I don't see Jerry. See Yuri, Silva. This is not matching up at all with what I'm looking at on my plate, so what is going on with that? Where are we coming in? 27 left. This is, oh, this is 26 left. No wonder. No wonder. 27 left. I hit the one above it. There we go. Much better. Okay, this makes a lot more sense here. Silva. There we go. I was like, that is not looking right at all whatsoever. There we are, by the airport. Really nice view. All right, let's hop back in. Let's start heading down to, we'll do 7K. We'll get it started, then we'll finish it out. 2,000. And we'll pull the speed down to 240. And we're a little bit fast here. Get some speed brakes. Speed brakes going. Take you down to 7K. Now hopefully we'll hit 7. You know, we may actually need to do 6. We'll see. Just as long as we're at 5 by Silva, that's what we're gunning for, is 5 by Silva. And we've got a discontinuity there, or it's got a set up for vectors. We don't need vectors. We don't need vectors, Victor. So let's do that. Plug you in and execute. There we go. That's much better. Much better now. Down through 7. Let's go on down to 6. Down to 6. And it will roll you back to 230. And we'll go ahead and go flaps 1 for 230. Alright, we're heading for hit, then Yuri, and then we'll turn on final. We'll do the auto land, or we won't do full auto land, but we'll let the plane fly the approach to figure that system out. Zoom it in just a tad. There we go, and we'll go VOR as well. Traffic out there somewhere. There's a few planes. I don't see them, but they're out there. All right, down to 6,000. That worked out pretty good. let's get our boards back in there. Start rolling the speed back for that turn to final. Actually, let's go to 210. Go 210 and we'll go flaps 5. That's right. Not really sure on the flat speed on this airplane. Yeah, flaps 5. Okay. So yeah, this is a fun plane to fly. I really enjoyed it. I don't have a lot of issues with it. I honestly just don't. Like I've said before, I'm not a systems guy. I hardly ever do cold dark startups. So that's a lot of stuff that I don't have to have. I take it or leave it. You know, I really, it just doesn't, it doesn't matter to me. Every once in a while I'll do that stuff, but I just, more than anything, I want an autopilot that works and an FMS that works as well. This FMS is lacking some features, you know, I mean, but it has the basics. I mean, honestly, this plane kind of reminds me of an FS-98 plane. Those planes didn't have a lot either as far as systems and stuff like that. They were very basic. So yeah, this is a lot like what I used to fly the most of. Probably going to be flying this thing a lot more. Probably a whole lot, actually. This has turned out to quickly becoming one of my favorites. Alright, let's drop her on down to 5. Yes. Maybe about 15, that should be fine. I'm rolling the speed back 190. Get some more flaps. Get some more flappage here. Double check these speeds real quick. Like I said, I'm not very certain on these speeds. That's one thing I need to really kind of figure out. That's one thing I noticed about this plane is like it's a little bit loose with the speeds. If I set 190, then it either can go above or drop below almost 10 knots before it like gets on it. So all right, let's close this out. Look at our landing. Let's see, missed approach, climb 1400, then climbing left turn to 4000. ATL Vortac R273 to tempo. The ATL 30.3 DME and hold. Let's see, we'll maintain 5,000, actually this one has 7,000 feet. We should have done 7,000 at Silva because I was looking at that other approach. It completely goofed me up. CJ, we should be at 5,000, so we're a little bit low for this thing. A little bit low. It's all right though. A lot of traffic on the TCAS. They're everywhere. I'm not seeing them though. All right, one below the glide slope. Let's go ahead and hit that. Let's do approach. There we go. Let's do that. And let's roll the speed back. And get some more flaps. We'll do 170 to the outer marker. No, she don't seem to be capturing. Not sure what's up with that. Got off. Go down to 4K, we'll see if we can recapture it. He does not want to do it for some reason. Yeah, she just doesn't seem like she wants to do it. Okay, we can hit it at 4,000, 2,800. I'm going down. We're gonna have to do this by hand. I just can't get it to capture it. I think I'm not coming in below it enough to get it. And our localizer isn't intercepting either. This is right. This is the correct frequency, right? No, 108.5. I never did change it. Well, damn, I just screwed the pooch on this thing all the way around. 108.5. All because... There we go. Now it's doing it. There we go. All because I put in the... I pulled up the wrong plate. I pulled up the one above this one instead of... There we go. Now we're sidestepped over. And let's pull our speed on back. Go full flaps. Now, let's see if she does it. I bet she does it now. Yes, there we go. It's a wonder. It's amazing how putting in the right ILS frequency will help you. No need to do this. This is just purely me figuring out the airplane and letting her do her thing. It would have been fine if I hadn't have pulled up the wrong plate. A little bit below. Just a tad. And she got a little, I think it's because she got slow, maybe? This is the right one for this runway. 27 left. We're good there. Yeah, she's riding a little bit below it. That's okay. It's alright, but... I'm up on 1,000 feet. Let's get our seat adjusted. And get my throttle set. We'll take over about 1,000. All right, 1,100. Well, she did what she was supposed to. Just had to put on the right frequency. Made all the difference in the world, right? There we go. It's a little better there. A little better. All right, what's this 717 doing? I hope he's on the other runway. A little bit below here. Getting a little bit slow. Actually, a lot slow. Open that throttle up.
500.
A little bit below.
400.
There we go. Now we're back on it. All right, middle marker.
300.
Pulling that speed back.
200.
Rear marker.
100.
All right, come on back. There
Lights
we go.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
There we go. All right, let's get reversers going here. All right, 380 knots. All right, 60. Let's come out reversers. A little bit of brakes, get the flaps up. All right, guys, welcome to Atlanta. We're here, back in hot Atlanta, one of my favorite airports to go to. All right, let's hold tight right here for a second, and let's get our lights taken care of. There we go. We'll get probes off, and I think we're good with all that. And let's get our that set to standby. There we go. And we got our flaps up, everything else is good. All right, let's hop out of the airplane. We'll finish up our taxi here to Atlanta. Look at it, maybe doing a live stream with some a multi-leg trip. Maybe, I think that would be cool. Make sure it's clear, no one's departing, so we're good there. I don't know what happened to that 717. There we go, got some lights off in the distance. Not too terribly busy. I looked at it earlier and there was a bunch of planes coming in to land. You can see two, looks like two coming in. Endeavor, and I don't know who's behind them. Alright, I do believe we'll park her right here and we'll call it a day. Or a trip, or whatever we want to call it. So our first video is down in the default 737-800. It's not a bad plane. It is really just not. I don't have that many complaints. It does what it's supposed to, right? I mean, it got us from point A to point B. The autopilot did everything that it was supposed to. We had basic functionality of the FMS. I really just can't complain. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, all that stuff. It's greatly appreciated. Love hearing from you, and we will catch you in the air next time. Peace.